Hi, and thank you for choosing 3D Cart. We've put together this video to show you how to get started and build your store on the 3D Cart platform. By now, you should have received your welcome email, which has your basic 3D Cart account information. Whether we're registering the domain name for you, or you're transferring over to 3D Cart's name servers, the welcome email will contain the login URL for your site as well as the login credentials. So that's where we're going to start. Here's our brand new site, and to get to the login prompt, I add admin/login.asp to the URL. Again, the welcome email will have your respective login URL listed for you. Enter your username and password from the welcome email. Then acknowledge and accept the terms and conditions shown here. Incidentally, if you're not yet signed up for 3D Cart and would like to review the terms and conditions, please visit 3dcart.com/legal.html to see the same document shown here. Now, I enter an email address to the account here. This is the email that the software will use to send me password reminders and things of that nature. Enter it a second time to confirm it is entered correctly, and click Save. And now for a very important step. When the account is first created, it has a very generic password, which is the one shown on your welcome email. So we need to change that to a new password. First, I enter the current generic password, and then I enter a new one. The new password should be 8 to 16 characters long, have at least one lowercase letter, at least one uppercase letter, and at least one number. Next, retype the password to confirm it, and click the Update button to proceed. The password is now set for the next 90 days, after which you'll be asked to change it again for security. Once all that is done, you'll be taken to the homepage of the 3D Cart Online Store Manager. Now, after you've gotten orders and sales coming into the store, this page will contain a dashboard of the sales and order figures for your review. However, when you first open up your store, there is no sales data to show, so the homepage here will contain these helpful startup sections. For this video, we'll be following the same basic flow as these help areas, but we'll be using the main navigation menus here. The reason for this is because, as I mentioned, this page is replaced with sales figures after your first orders come in, so I'll be showing you the regular navigation as well for your reference in case you need to revisit this video later on. Now, aside from the regular navigation, I also want to point out the View Store button shown up here. This button will take you directly to your store's homepage so that you can see how the building is coming along. As you make changes to the settings in the admin, they'll translate to the homepage each time you click View Store. Also, while you're actively logged into the admin and you're on your store's page, you'll see this little icon up here. This opens up some editing tools for you that also take you to areas inside the admin. I'm hiding this for now since I really want to concentrate more on the navigation inside the Online Store Manager for this presentation. So let's get started. The first thing I want to go over is adding your store logo and basic store information. Right now, this is a brand new store, so it's just called Sample Store, and it has a generic logo added to it. So to change this, you're going to go into the admin, and using this navigation menu, go to Settings, then General, then Store Settings. The page is split up into these different tabs for a variety of global settings, but for now, I just want to focus on my store information. Now, for the purpose of this video, the store I'm creating is for small kitchen appliances. So we'll start with my store name here. Just something alliterative and fun-looking, followed by my store's slogan. Now, if you don't have a slogan, just leave this blank. The field is there just in case it's needed. Alright, now to add my logo. It already has the generic logo path here, so first I click on Browse, which takes me to the store's file manager where all of the images are kept. Scrolling down to the bottom here, I clicked on Upload Files, and I added my logo as shown here. Now, after the logo's been uploaded, I located it in the file manager and selected it. and there's the new path to the logo. Next, I added my company merchant information. This is just basic contact information. Let's skip ahead a little bit while the info is entered. Okay, that's done, and now I click Save and view the store to see the new logo in place. And there's the new logo. Now, the store is still using its default theme, which is a nice theme, but I wanted to have something a little different in terms of the design, so let's go over selecting a theme. Again, using the Online Store Manager's navigation menu, we go to Settings, Design this time, and then Themes and Styles. Here you will find all of the free themes that are included with your account. There's a pretty wide variety of themes with different layouts and color schemes to choose from. When you find a theme that you like, simply click on its image and download it to begin the install process. Again, it's a pretty wide variety, so take a little bit of time and go through them at your leisure. Maybe install a few for comparison. And don't forget that we also give you access to the HTML of the themes as well if you'd like to fine-tune certain aspects. For my store, I was looking for some specific needs on my theme, so let's skip ahead and we'll continue after a few themes have been tried out. Okay, so at this point I narrowed it down to a few themes before I made my final decision. So let's show you what was chosen. Here's the store with the default theme. Now it's a nice theme, but I wanted something that sort of complemented my logo a bit more. I was also partial to having the categories shown on a left bar. That's just a look that I personally prefer, so I wanted to see if there was a different theme for me. I found this theme, which looked interesting. I really liked the placement of the logo on this one. It's nice and big. But even though it does have a left bar on it, the categories are still at the top, so I kept looking. This next theme has an interesting layout. I liked the colors and the left bar, but the logo placement isn't quite what I was personally looking for, so I kept looking. This next theme was actually very close to what I was looking for. The logo is on the left, it's nice and big. It has the left navigation menu and the categories are all on the left. But there was something not quite right with it, so I wanted to give the search one more go before settling on a theme. Now this theme has everything I was looking for as far as the layout goes. Everything is presented in the flow that I liked best for my store. But as you can see, the colors aren't really that great with my logo. Fortunately, 3D Cart has this customized theme button, which lets me select my own color schemes for the site. And with just a few color changes, I got this. The same layout, but with a coloring that better complements my logo. And here's the full site. So when you select the theme for your store, find a layout you're comfortable with first, and then use the customizer for the design's coloring after. Let's move on to the next section, adding your products. Since this is a brand new store, it started with the default sample products created on it. It also had some sample categories created. These are just in place to show you how they'll appear on the store with your selected theme's layout. As the owner of the store, you could either edit these sample products and categories to meet your needs, or delete them all and start from scratch. Personally, I like to work with a clean slate, so in my case, I went ahead and cleared out all the sample data for my store. Okay, so here we have our clean slate. It still shows 11 products here, but that's just my browser's cache showing the old number. It'll clear up in a moment. Now let's add my first product. Click the Add Product button shown here, and we'll enter basic product information. This will be a cappuccino machine, so I add the name. You can add its SKU number or whatever its ID is here. Next, I added a description for it. You can use this section to design a really nice description, but I'm just going really quick here. Next, select if it's a physical product, a digital product, or a purchased gift certificate. And here, you'll add the item to its respective categories as needed. Now, I went ahead and deleted the sample categories earlier, so I don't have any categories to select. In this case, I'm going to add new ones. Here I'm adding the category for appliances. And next I add one for espresso machines, and I made it a subcategory of appliances, basically a child category. And now that they're created, I selected both for the product so that the item is found in each. Now here I'm adding the first image to the product. It's basically just a click and drag process, so I grabbed the image from my desktop and I slid it on over. Next, I added the pricing information. Price is what I'll be selling it as. Retail price is just whatever the competitors sell it for. It isn't required, so you can leave this blank if needed. Up next, I specified my inventory amount for the product. And this checkbox is selected in order to put the item on back order and let my customers still purchase the item even when it runs out of stock. Next, I added the product's dimensions, which come into play for shipping calculation. And finally, I added some selectable options for the product. Once all this was done, I clicked Save, and the item was created. Now, when you create a product in this fashion and save it, you're given these additional tabs to fine-tune the product. As you can see, there's more granularity that can be added to the item in each tab. So here, I went to the Images tab to add more pictures to the product. Same as before, just click and drag, and I was able to add 4 new pictures to the product. And to show you the product, here I am clicking Save, and then I click Preview to look at the product. And there's the item with the added images, the pricing information, and everything I've entered so far. Also, when I click on the View Store button to see my home page, there's the item as well. So here we're going to take another pause because I wanted to flesh out the product a little bit more and get ready to add more items to the store. Okay, so here I polished up the product a bit more and added some more details to it, like an updated SKU, MPN, and GTIN number. I also padded out the description a bit more to look nicer. Now, something I often suggest when building a new store is to add 1 or 2 products manually and fill them to the brim with as many different facets as you need. And that's what I did in this case. Because once that was done, I could use that information that I entered manually to help me add more products. Here I am going to the store's Export-Import section. I selected all fields and I exported the product's data so far. It took a second and the store generated this CSV file for me, which I downloaded to my computer. Here's the CSV file it generated. Each column on that CSV correlates to a different facet of the product. I then took that CSV file and used it to make my own, to include all of my other products. Again, every column corresponds to a different facet of the product, including the prices, the image paths, and everything else. I've already uploaded all of my product images using the file manager, so now I'm about to upload the new CSV file and populate my store. So we stay on the Export-Import page, but rather than export, this time I clicked on the Import section for products. I browsed to the file and selected it, and then I clicked on Import Data. I went with import only in this case, and in just a few seconds, the store created the rest of my products. And here they are. Again, I pre-uploaded my images while creating the new CSV file, so the import merely mapped the products to their respective image paths. The store is looking a little more fleshed out. Incidentally, the store is still using the placeholder images for the carousel, so I wanted to change that as well. This time I clicked on the 3D Cart Tools icon that I showed earlier, and I selected Edit Carousel. This would be the same thing as going to the store's module section, which is highlighted here, and looking for the word Homepage. Just like with the logo, I clicked on the Browse button and uploaded my carousel images to the file manager. Then I located and selected each image. Incidentally, when you create your images for the carousel, just be sure to use nice, big images and make sure each image is the same exact size. Otherwise, they'll look weird when they move from one image to the next. Now, one of these carousel images I uploaded makes a reference to one of my categories, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to that category and getting the last part of its URL. And then here, I'm pasting it into the Links to URL section. This way, when someone clicks on that carousel image, it takes them to that category. And one final click of the View Store button to see the store, and here it is. At this point, I have product, I selected a design, and the site is looking pretty nice. Alright, so to recap, here's our admin homepage with the helpful Getting Started sections. So far, we've covered the first two by adding a theme and products, as well as a couple of other miscellaneous options. Our next section is adding the store's payment methods. You could either click on the button shown here, or if you don't see this page anymore, go to Settings and then Payment. Next, click on the Select Payment Methods. When you get to this page, you'll see several recommended payment solutions listed at the top. To enable these, simply turn them on and click on their respective Connect buttons to tie them to your account with that payment provider. On the other hand, if you just want to use PayPal Express, simply add your PayPal email address in the field and you're all set. And lastly, if you don't use any of the recommended payment providers or PayPal and need to add your own specific gateway, click on the Add New button shown here. We have integrations with many payment gateways, so just locate your specific gateway and enter the required credentials for your account with them. You also have the ability to add offline payment methods like check or money order if needed. By default, the store is going to have a money order one created already for you. So as you can see, you have quite a bit of flexibility on how to accept payment on your store. Okay, we're almost done with our basic setup tutorial here. We're down to our final step, which is setting up the store's shipping calculations. So to begin with the shipping setup, first I go to Settings, then Shipping. Now there are two main sections I'll be using on this page. Shipping methods is where I'll set the actual methods that my customers will select during checkout. But before I can realistically set any of that stuff up, I need to go into the shipping settings section first. Shipping settings is where I'll go to set up my real-time shipping. This is the area you would go into to connect your 3D cart store with your respective carrier service. For example, UPS or FedEx. Essentially what you do is you enter your credentials with your carrier service into the provided fields. If you don't have an account with that carrier, you could also use this section to register with them if you'd like. Once that process is done, the store will be able to receive real-time shipping rates from that carrier that your customer can select and apply to their orders. In my case, I entered my credentials with USPS and connected them to my store. And since they're my primary carrier, I'm going to click and drag them up to a more prominent top position here. Now, while I'm still in this shipping settings page, I'm also going to specify the store's shipping origin. This is basically where the store is delivering from, and it'll be used by the carrier to calculate the shipping. You see, in order to calculate the shipping quotes, the carrier will use the point of origin for the order, as well as the destination of the order and the order weight, and sometimes the dimensional information to return quotes. So this section is where the origin is added. At this point, we're ready to add the actual methods. So I go back to the Settings, Shipping area, and this time I click on the Select Methods button. The store has some flat rates added that can be configured and toggled on, but since I'm using USPS, here's where I select those methods. I basically just select the methods I want to make available and add them to my store. After the methods are added, they can be further tweaked and configured with additional markups or exceptions as needed. In my case, however, I'm just leaving them as they are. Additionally, note that the store also has a way where you can create custom methods. These are basically offline shipping calculations that can be set up on the store to calculate shipping apart from the real-time shipping carriers. The way they calculate shipping is based on ranges you create for either the order's quantity, value, weight, or even the zip code that it's shipping to. In my case, I selected by weight. But after adding it, I still needed to create my ranges, so that's what I'm doing here. You click on the little action wheel and select Edit Ranges. And from that point, you could add whatever ranges you need to set up shipping calculation. In this example, I added one range for orders weighing between 0 and 5 pounds. They would calculate for a 5% shipping cost. Let's flash forward a bit to see the ranges I ultimately added. The next range was from 5.01 pounds to 10 pounds, and that one would calculate an 8% shipping cost, and then the last one would be from 10.01 pounds to 999, and that one would calculate a 10% shipping cost per item. Now note how the ranges here are listed with the 5.01 and the 10.01. I did this instead of making the next range start with a 6 because I wanted to have some coverage for the in-between numbers. You see, the 0.01 is just for overlapping coverage. That way, if someone has an order that is 5.5 pounds, there's a range in place for it. Okay, so once all the ranges were added, I clicked on Save, and we're all set. The store's shipping methods have been added, and I'm ready for a test. So let's see everything in action as I click on View Store and place a test order. Here's the store with the theme and carousel I added earlier. I navigated to the category shown here and I added this product. The store takes me to the Add to Cart page where I proceed to checkout. And now I add all of my customer information. I'm a terrible typist, so let me speed this up for you a bit. Basically, I'm just entering my billing and shipping address and the phone number on the order. Here we have our calculated shipping costs. Once the shopper puts in their zip code information, the store sends the call to the carrier for calculation, and that's what's being shown here. The shopper selects their desired shipping rate, and the cost is added to their total. And down here, they put in their payment info. They can use PayPal, which will ask for a login, or pay with money order, or in my case, enter a credit card. Now, I have this account payment gateway in test mode, so the card isn't actually being charged. But I wanted to place a test order just to show you how everything looks. And I'll just leave a comment here to remind myself of this order. And there's my order. Now, when an order is placed, the merchant gets a notification on it, and here's my browser asking if it's okay to send me these notifications. I'm just clicking yes to each prompt here. And now I'm going to go to the Orders section, followed by Manage Orders. And here's where that new order is. I can click through it to see all of the order details. At this point, all that is needed to do is fulfill the order. Here I'm specifying the order's ship date and adding the tracking number, and once I save all of this, the store sets the order to shipped status. Meanwhile, my customer gets a notification telling them that the order's been shipped. Now, I mentioned earlier that the admin homepage changes after your first order. It does, but in the video here, I just placed the order. So let's come back when a little time has passed to see the dashboard page. Okay, and we're back to the store. Usually about an hour after you get and ship that first order, the store will update the admin homepage to this. Here you can review the store's order and revenue information as well as look at the data historically. Additionally, this page will also link you to helpful blog pages as well as support channels for when you have technical questions. While we're on that topic, let's look at some of the help areas of the online store manager that you can use. Dispersed throughout the admin itself, you'll find several of these small info icons. When you hover over them, they'll give you a brief description of the item they're highlighting. Next, we have the Need Help section, which will show you a listing of various knowledge base articles we've created for this store. The interesting feature of the Need Help icon is the fact that it will display articles specific to the page you happen to be viewing at the time. So if you're in products, you'll see product KBs, but if you're in the customers section, you'll see customer record KBs. If you look towards the bottom right of the admin pages, you'll see this icon as well. You can use this chat window to ask questions and get answers directly from our support team. From the admin homepage, you could also view this support section, which will show you some FAQ articles, the phone number to our support team, and you can even open up support tickets directly from the admin. And last but not least, you can go over to the support portal at support.3dcart.com, which will let you search for and browse through all of the knowledge base articles for 3D Cart. And of course, our support team is here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're always here if you need us. So hopefully this video helps you set up your store. Thanks again for choosing 3D Cart, and best of luck with your business. Thanks for watching.